Well, it's finally happened. Valve laid down their trap, and you fools walked directly into it with not a care in the world. Hey, what's up guys, Mashshiny here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be going over the Valve trap that was set for Antwerp, how everyone fell right into it, and what this really means for the future. Now I'm going to be going over specifically what that means and more. Let's hop on into it. Now, as I'm sure most of you know, on August 1st, Valve released their matchmaking update, and inside of their blog post, they very nonchalantly mentioned that they will be in store until August 8th, they being Antwerp capsules. And well, specifically, the date of their removal wasn't actually too important. Like if they got removed on the 8th, 9th, or 10th, it wasn't really important. What was important is the implied scarcity they just put on the entire CSGO market on a lot of weak-minded individuals. And there's a specific reason a lot of people fall into this trap. Generally speaking, people who invest into CSGO are younger and more willing to take risk. And it doesn't matter how many cringy Instagram photos you like of having a millionaire mindset, this is the opportunity most people think they have for some reason. People grossly overestimate their abilities and capabilities when it comes to investing. It's the reason that day trading is so popular. Less than 1% succeed with day trading, while that 100% go into it with the mindset that they are capable of making money. Research from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in the United States found that the only downside for creating perceived scarcity in a consumer atmosphere is that people are going to end up hiding items. But the thing is, in a digital space like CSGO, people cannot hide items, and therefore they're going to be increasing the amount of products bought, at least Valve is in this scenario, because people cannot hide items, and people are going to be buying more items because of this perceived scarcity, and there really is no downside when you look at this from the viewpoint of Valve. And I've got one more study just to kind of hammer it home here. Basically, in 2018, there was a study done that found when people were investing with emotions or making emotionally charged decisions when they're viewing their investments, they end up making significantly less than those who just did it normally. They didn't take any emotion into play, and therefore they ended up with a significant higher ROI. This is talking about the stock market, but I believe that it's easily transferable over into this atmosphere here because it's talking about not necessarily returns, but not making emotionally charged decisions, which is kind of what Valve is encouraging you to do in this scenario. See, what Valve is doing here is obviously intentional. Everyone can tell that by releasing this end date, they are going to release some sort of fear or greed that they're going to miss out, and therefore more people are going to invest. What I don't think people realize is the majority of people that are impacted by this. A lot of people are looking at this and now thinking possibly is it a good time to invest because it's coming to an end, not realizing the overall risk that is still there and is now more prevalent than ever just because there is more people specifically looking into investing into Antwerp at this time. Now I want to make it clear two big things. First up, I'm not telling you yes or no on investing into Antwerp. That's obviously your decision. You're going to make that decision, and I am not going to be held responsible in any way, shape, or form. But the main annoyance I have and the main reason this video is sparked is because people constantly looking at the fact that this got a release date and now specifically looking at investing into it and not looking at all the different facts leading up to that, but rather that since it has a release date, I must be investing into it, or I have to be, or I'm going to miss out. And this is even multiplied by the fact that we've seen the Rocks Holo, which is now the 30th most expensive holo in the game, excluding Katowice 2014, and that also includes a couple sticker capsules that are ahead of it, so it's most likely in the 26th to 25th range, which is absolutely crazy for a sticker that is available to be gotten for 25 cents. Now your odds of getting it, I believe, are roughly 1 in 1200, but there is still a large majority of people that are looking at this and believing that there is an opportunity to make a significant amount of money now when they didn't just a couple weeks ago. With this sudden increase in the price for the Rocks Holo, I went back and I analyzed the specific contenders autograph capsule once again. I didn't do the other three because they're not really relevant and the data is almost guaranteed to be very similar, but what I found is that it was up almost 25% in its ROI. But you gotta realize that this is down from the original 85% it was at when the capsules originally released, and yet the Rocks Holo was sitting at a significantly lower price point then than it is now. See, at this point, the Rocks Holo dominates the Antwerp conversation. You are able to get a sticker that's worth $50 to $100 at a specific range of time. Obviously, it is constantly changing, and right now it's on the higher end of that spectrum, but it's absolutely crazy that that can come from a 25-cent capsule. There's videos on YouTube that easily get over 100,000 views, like this one by Jesus, just specifically opening up a Rocks Hollow. Personally, I'm going to be very interested to see where Antwerp ends up because of the specific differences between Antwerp and Stockholm. Obviously, the stickers are very similar, but the time of year is drastically different. We're looking at the slowest time versus one of the most popular times, whereas right now it is in the middle of summer, where usually we see a lower player count, but we've seen a high player count in anticipation for that 10-year anniversary. That 10-year anniversary is going to be the make or break of Antwerp, which I've said multiple times, and I still stand by that, but it's going to be quite interesting to see, and at least in my opinion, I think Antwerp is in an okay position, but I think the situation is constantly getting worse, and this hype that we've been seeing lately is not something that's specifically going to help Antwerp, especially now that the capsules are still available to purchase when this hype was originally going on. The thing that scares me the most moving forward is what is going to be the demand for Antwerp after this major cycle ends. Obviously, Antwerp is very hyped right now, but we've seen with souvenir packages that even if something does not have specifically a super high quantity, if the demand is just not there, it's going to suffer. Obviously, souvenir packages are down significantly from what you bought them for, most likely. At bare minimum, you're breaking even at this point, which is still a very sad outcome considering that we've seen Stockholm capsules up, we've seen cases up, everything is majorly up except for these souvenir packages and a couple other unique items. Now, if you know me, I don't specifically like to use the quantity on the market as a great comparison point, but I do find it quite interesting looking at my past videos when I was talking about RMR and potentially how it was going to be the end of sticker investing. Funnily enough, that video got a pretty decent amount of dislikes, which I think is honestly turned out to be quite true because RMR did kill sticker investing to a certain degree, but besides the point there, you can see the amount of golds that were listed for the RMRs there. I mean, we're looking at 400 and at maximum 1,000 for that Navi gold, whereas if you come over here, you can see that the most quantity we're sitting at on the market is around 150 for the Navi gold. Now, I do still think, once again, this is not a great comparison because we're comparing market quantity, which is much different. You could say that these are more demanded. You could say that those were more demanded. There's a lot of different factors that play into it, and specifically, I just don't like it. But I do think that it is still a very interesting piece when you're talking about if Antwerp's going to be a great investment in the future and the overall demand versus the supply. And then you've also got the actual RMR supply on the market for the capsules versus the Antwerp supply on the market, which once again, I've repeated myself a couple times here. I just don't like it, but I do think it is quite interesting that we're sitting at a roughly similar amount on the market for both of these. But there's a ton of different factors that play into it, and I wouldn't read too deep into this one, honestly speaking. Now, the one thing you might be wondering is the timelines. The timelines are pretty much equivalent here. This RMR date was actually right before it was removed, so I would say it's pretty much even. I think what we're seeing here is that a lot more RMR capsules were actually unboxed beforehand. When we saw that 75% off sale for RMR, a lot of people went crazy there, whereas if we're looking at Antwerp, I don't think that's been the case because we've seen a little bit higher sticker prices along with those autograph capsules, which has definitely taken away some of the stress that we usually see on those main 3 capsules. Now there's 7 capsules to spread out your unboxing numbers between. But as always, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.